So, plumbing. Do you want to know more about it, huh? Good choice. I'll be honest, when we decided to do a deep dive on this, I thought, okay, pipes, wrenches, what's the big deal? But then I started digging into this roll catcher guide. And wow, was I wrong?
Yeah, it's way more than just fixing leaky faucets, that's for sure.
Seriously, it's like this whole other world opened up. So we're diving deep into all things plumbing, using RoleCatcher's career guide as our trusty map. And trust me, by the end of this, you'll be looking at those bathroom sinks and kitchen pipes in a whole new light.
Definitely. We're talking about intricate systems, regulations, even the client interaction side of things. You're not just a plumber, you're a problem solver, a technician, almost like a plumbing detective in a way.
Right, unraveling those watery mysteries. Speaking of mysteries, one thing that really jumped out at me from the guide was the tech. Like, I had no idea how much technology is involved in plumbing these days. RoleCatcher mentions software, drones, even robots. It's like something out of a sci-fi movie.
It really is incredible how much the field has changed. This isn't your grandpa's plumbing job anymore, that's for sure.
Right. So tell me, how is this tech actually being used? What does it mean for someone considering a career in plumbing today?
Well, for starters, it means having those tech skills is becoming more and more crucial. Think about it. You could be using augmented reality to visualize pipes hidden behind a wall or analyzing sensor data to predict a leak before it even happens.
Wait, seriously, that's like having X-ray vision for plumbing. That's amazing.
Yeah.
But I imagine even with all the cool gadgets, you still need to know the basics, right? Like all those plumbing codes and regulations.
Absolutely. Those codes are the foundation of everything. Think of them like the rules of the road for plumbers.
Okay, that makes sense. But I'll be honest, poring over codes and regulations doesn't sound like the most thrilling way to spend an afternoon. What would you say to someone who might find that part a little daunting?
I get it. Codes aren't exactly page turners, but here's the thing. They're there to protect public health and safety. They ensure that the work is done correctly and to a high standard. It's about taking pride in your work and knowing that you're doing things the right way.
So it's about the bigger picture. It's not just connecting pipes, it's about protecting people.
Exactly. And that's where those certifications come in. RoleCatcher mentions a bunch of them, like the Journeyman Plumber's License, Backflow Prevention Certification, Gas Line Installation Certification.
Whoa, slow down. That's a lot of certifications.
It might seem like a lot, but each one represents a specific set of skills and knowledge that qualifies you for different types of work.
So it's like leveling up in a video game. You gain new abilities and unlock new challenges with each certification.
Exactly. It's about demonstrating your expertise and showing potential employers that you have what it takes to handle any plumbing challenge that comes your way.
Okay, that makes sense. So it's not just about getting the job. It's about being able to do the job safely and effectively. It's about having that confidence and knowing you're up for the task, no matter what.
Exactly. And speaking of being prepared, one thing RoleCatcher emphasizes is the importance of continuous learning in this field.
Oh, interesting. So even after you've got those certifications, it's not like you just stop learning.
Not even close. This industry is constantly changing new technologies, new materials, even new regulations popping up all the time.
Wow, so it's really important to stay up to date. How do you even do that?
RoleCatcher has some great advice. They talk about attending trade shows, reading industry publications, maybe even joining a professional association.
Oh, so you can geek out with other plumbing enthusiasts. Networking. I like it.
Exactly. And who knows, you might even pick up some new tricks of the trade. Now, speaking of learning and growing, let's talk about career progression. RoleCatcher does a nice job of outlining the typical path from apprentice to master plumber.
Yeah, it's super helpful to see those different stages laid out. It makes the whole career path seem less, taunting. Like you start as an apprentice, right? What does that actually look like in the day-to-day?
Well, as an apprentice, you're basically learning the ropes from more experienced plumbers. You're assisting with repairs, getting a feel for different tools and materials, probably doing a lot of observing and absorbing. Think of it as your plumbing 101.
Plumbing 101, love it. Okay, so you've mastered the basics. You've moved on from being an apprentice. What's next on the plumbing ladder?
Next up is junior plumber. This is where you start taking on more responsibility, tackling more complex tasks, maybe even leading a small team on certain projects.
Oh, wow. So you're not just fetching tools anymore. You're calling some of the shots.
Exactly. And with more responsibility comes, you guessed it, more learning. You're constantly building on your skills, honing your craft, figuring out what types of plumbing work you really enjoy.
It's like you're leveling up your plumbing skills with every new challenge.
Exactly. And as you gain experience and expertise, you transition into the role of an experienced plumber. Now, this is where things get really interesting.
How so? What does an experienced plumber do differently?
At this level, it becomes less about just doing the work yourself and more about guiding others, managing projects, making sure everything is up to code and meets those safety standards we talked about.
So it's like you're becoming a mentor, a leader in the field. That's pretty cool.
It's a natural progression, really. You've paid your dues, you've honed your skills, and now you get to share that knowledge with the next generation of plumbers.
That's pretty awesome. So you've gone from apprentice to mentor. Is there another level? What's the ultimate goal for a plumber?
Well, the pinnacle of the profession, the top of the plumbing pyramid, is the master plumber.
The master plumber. It sounds almost mythical.
It kind of is. This is a plumber who's seen and done it all. They've got decades of experience under their belt. They're called in for the most challenging projects, and they're basically the go-to experts for all things plumbing.
Wow, that's impressive. I bet those master plumbers have some pretty incredible stories.
I'm sure they do. But it's not just about the stories. It's about the knowledge they've accumulated over the years. And that brings us back to something we touched on earlier. Those essential skills that RoleCatcher outlines.
Right. They go into a lot of detail about the specific skills needed at each career stage.
They really do their research, which is so helpful for someone just starting out. They break down those skills into different categories, like technical skills, problem-solving skills, even communication and customer service skills.
It's one thing to say, oh, you need good problem-solving skills.
Yeah.
But it's way more helpful to see concrete examples of how those skills are actually used in the field.
Totally. And that's what RoleCatcher does so well. They give you those real-world examples, which makes those skills feel much more attainable. It's not just some abstract concept. It's like, okay, I can see how I could use my problem-solving skills to figure out why this drain is clogged.
It makes it feel more real, more achievable. And you know what else I thought was really cool? They have these AI tools that can analyze your work history and identify your transferable skills.
Oh, yeah, those tools are amazing.
So even if you're coming from a completely different field, like say you were a chef or a musician, there might be skills you've already developed that could be valuable in the plumbing world.
Absolutely. And RoleCatcher can help you connect those dots, highlight those transferable skills on your resume, make you a more attractive candidate to potential employers.
It's like having a secret weapon in your job search arsenal. And speaking of secret weapons, have you checked out their RoleCatcher.capture plugin? It lets you save job postings from all over the internet with just one click.
Yeah, it's a game changer. No more endless scrolling through job boards. It's like having a personal assistant for your job search.
Right. They've really thought of everything. And the best part is, all of these tools and resources are completely free. It's clear that RoleCatcher is really invested in helping people find fulfilling careers.
They're definitely doing some amazing work.
Okay, but let's get real for a minute. Even with all the cool tools and resources, the big question is this the right career path for you? I mean, what are some of the less obvious perks of being a plumber? The things that might not be immediately apparent?
That's a great question. I think beyond the practicalities, there's a certain satisfaction that comes from working with your hands, from solving problems in the real world, you know. We're not just staring at a computer screen all day. You're out there making a tangible difference in people's lives.
You're right. It's easy to forget about all that goes on behind the scenes to keep things running smoothly, until something breaks, that is.
Exactly. It's like we expect our toilets to flush and our showers to work magically, but we don't always stop to think about the skilled professionals who make it all happen.
Right. Out of sight, out of mind, until you need them. And then they're your new best friend.
Exactly. And I think in a way, that quiet dedication, that behind-the-scenes problem-solving, it's part of what makes this career so rewarding. You're not doing it for fame or recognition. You're doing it because you're making a tangible difference in people's lives.
You're using your knowledge and your skills to literally make their lives better.
Precisely. And there's a certain satisfaction that comes with that, with seeing the direct results of your efforts. You're not just pushing papers. You're out there building something, fixing something, leaving things better than you found them.
There's a real sense of accomplishment in that, right? Like you can step back and say, I did that, and it works.
Exactly. And that sense of craftsmanship, that pride in a job well done, it's something that I think is increasingly rare these days. It's a connection to a long line of skilled tradespeople who came before, the ones who built the world we live in.
Wow, when you put it that way, it's kind of inspiring. So for someone listening who's thinking, Yeah, that resonates with me. I like the idea of working with my hands, solving problems, being part of something bigger. Plumbing could be a really good fit.
Absolutely. It's a career path with a lot to offer, good earning potential, high demand, the opportunity to be your own boss one day if that's what you're after. And with resources like RoleCatcher, getting started is easier than ever.
Yeah, RoleCatcher is definitely a game changer. They've really done an amazing job of breaking down this career path, making it feel accessible and achievable, even if you're starting from scratch.
Couldn't agree more.
Well, on that note, we're just about out of time. But before we wrap up, I want to thank you so much for joining us for this deep dive into the world of plumbing. It's been eye-opening.
My pleasure. Always happy to talk about plumbing.
And to our listeners, we hope you found this episode informative and maybe even a little bit inspiring. Remember, whether you're considering a career in plumbing or something else entirely, the important thing is to stay curious, keep exploring your options, and never stop learning. And hey, the next time you turn on your faucet or flush your toilet, take a moment to appreciate the skilled plumbers who made it all possible. That's it for us today. Until next time, keep on plumbing.